We'll wait a little bit for the people. That's great. That will be great. We'll have fun today. Let's see who's gonna show up. We already have one person. Identified yourself. Identified yourself. You, the person there that just came back. Please identify yourself. Are you a Risk player? I will be glad. What's going on in Discord? What's going on in Discord? Not so much news. We're gonna speak about that story. That's really funny because there are people, they are sure, like DJ Odyssey, they think that they can stop history by whining on YouTube and banning people on Discord, but it's not working like that. It's not working like that. Let's speak a little bit about where they all work: social movement and protest. Okay, we have several examples of that in modern. It's not only in modern history. Not so long time ago. So take an example in 2012 here in Quebec. We had the mass protests against the fact that they wanted to raise the charge, the payment in university. So students' fee was supposed to be raised, and there were mass protests. And the idiot and corrupt idiot, the corrupt idiot was their liberal party leader, Jean Charest, this time, tried to use the cops to stop that, tried to use special law to stop that, tried by all means to stay in power and using, like Trump is doing right now, to use that to push his own re-election. And it has been an epic failure. He didn't succeed to do that. It was his political career ended after that. Why? Because when you have a mass protest, when you have a massive amount of people in the streets, and you use the police against them, even if you are succeeding to rally to you like the most right-wing people and the far right to your cause, you, as can say, you isolate yourself as much. Because at the end of the day, what we speak about, the people in the middle that need to do that watch on the two sides, they see the fact that they are a superpower of repression, eating people that have the majority really good concern about what's going on. And even the people say, oh, but some protesters use violence. But at some point, the violence becomes so strong from the side of the police and that mass repression that a lot of people, if they don't support the protester, what they are doing, they finish by not supporting the state doing mass repression. Because obviously, they understand that if you let far-right politicians and leaders going too far in repression and against anybody, at the end of the day, everybody will pay the price. And the people will lose completely control in the states. And maybe in history, what can happen eventually is that leader then succeed to keep his power and win his election on repression of the masses, finally decide to stay in power because now he organizes structure of the state to stay in power. So the only thing that Trump was able to do was to ignore the far right that succeed to push him in power and organize him his takeoff in power in the election. That the election then he won by accident because his opponent were devised, and he succeed to be elected because of a lack of participation and all that stuff, and also because it was the new kids on the street. So people say we'll give him a chance. There's a lot of reason why by accident that guy I succeed to win an election without the popular vote. But at the end of the day, his first mandate was a way to prove himself. And obviously, we can speak about all the stuff on what he's been complete idiot. It didn't work properly as a president. It was unable to do the job. But what is crucial right now is if you have a mass opposition. This is what in history played really the role. If you have a mass protest like that, how you will react? Are you able to make significant reform that will bring the people on the streets to trust you, and at this point, at some point, as well as they can, to forgive a lot of idiocies that there were before? Because when history, what is a summit, you succeed to finally bring something and a reform that is really important for the people on the streets. Or if you act as a fucking idiot, as a showman, as a kind of businessman, thinking that you can fix everything by repression and even mass repression, what is impossible. Trump chose the second way, and history will not forgive him. He will renown. He will fall in history as the wrong guy. That's what's going on. When you are unable to answer to mass protest properly, and properly, it's mean that because the only thing you can do is find a way to satisfy the majority of the protester and all the people that align with them, that are not forcibly in the streets, but align with them. But if the only thing you find to do is to send the police as thugs on the people, and to promote civilian to like far right people that you can call so much good people, to go in the streets and beat up the protester by so-called acting against Antifa. But Antifa isn't Antifa, as I said, is a social movement, is a social, not necessarily movement. This is a social like movements more. I mean, you can put on a terrorist organization list. You can put like if we speak about criminal organized crime list, you can put on it like the Hells Angels or the Bandidos, but you cannot put bikers. What does it mean, bikers? It's any person that is on a bike. Is any person that have a patch in his back as a biker? Is any person that identified himself as a biker? I mean, what it is. When you target a criminal organization as an organized crime, like you will target specific organization. You'll put on the list Hells Angels, Bandidos, the Outlaws. That's organization that are doing crime. This is specified. That's the same with the terrorist organization. So you can put Antifa, it's mean nothing. You can't enforce that because this is unenforceable. So all that like phony shows that I mean, when the mayors say to you "fuck you," when the government said we don't need your help, when police chief said to the president, if you have nothing intelligent to say, shut up. I mean, obviously, you don't have any controls on anything. And even if we can have some part of the state that support you at some point, it's not because you are doing some kind of phony executive order that you'll succeed to take the control. So the White House has no control on anything right now. Absolutely not. And the only power that can have a president right now in the question of the protest actually is to to find a way to say, okay, there are structural problems, there are real problems, and we'll take that problem by the root and we'll pull out it. So we'll create like commission of reconciliation. We'll do a public inquiry that will mean that we will meet the people that suffer from that and that suffer of that problem. We'll find the bad apples and you propose like real structure. I mean, but this is not what happened. The Trump presidency was a presidency without any kind of plan. It was like a train wreck without any kind of plan. And obviously, if there are no mass protests, if there are no mass movement that stand up during your presidencies, you can succeed to buy in any way a second election. But when happen something that like what happening right now in the United States, you have no damn chance to do anything by improvisation. You cannot improvise. You need to know the situation, you need to understand, you need to admit that they are a problem, that they are a mass problem, a massive structural problem, and you need to have something to propose. So you cannot fix that by mass repression, and you cannot fix that by publicity stunts. You cannot fix that by that stuff. It's completely idiotic. And the question is that right now, history will be made. I mean, as Kennedy said, if you're not doing like a pacified revolution, you'll not be able to avoid violent revolution. And that's what could be done. What could be done at some point, some reform. It will never be deep enough under the capitalist system. But look at this. There are places where there are problems with the police, but they are not deep and so little than in the United States. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, people should understand what's going on. The number of people dying in other industrial Western countries because of the police and by Pareto of population, and the fact that some communities are specifically targeted is really a problem that we find everywhere, but at different level. And in the United States, the level is absolutely terrible, like for mass shooting. So you can't. They are a problem. People are on the street and they want to find a way to stop that kind of problem, to stop that institutional disgrace of a problem that kill people every day in the United States. And whenever the way that the states or the people or the police or the army try can do, their story will be made. But the difference is that how many casualties, how many people will die, how much destruction it will be in that historical event, in that historical process. And this is where the different element, including the White House and the police and all that stuff, were playing a role. So history will be done in a way or another. In a way or another. But which way we want to have? And if the way you want is to repress the protester with mass repression, because some stores have been looting. Stores then have, by the way, especially for the Walmarts and the Targets of the world, have a really big insurance and will not suffer at all about it. Okay? But for some material broken, you try to find it as a pretext to, and by doing phony executive order, You try to do mass repression. If you do that, you'll just make the process harmful, more harder, more dangerous. They will have more debt. But obviously, actually, um, that shitty person right now, that big face that is in the White House right now, decide to give the priority, like in the pandemic, by the way, to give the priority to is a re-election, and you play randomly the cards to think that, and this is pure Bannon, this is pure Stephen Miller, to say to him, if you play the card of law and order, you'll get re-elected. Sorry, but it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And playing the card of law and order and that kind of stuff to give himself the power to hurt people, to just look better in front of a specific number of people and get their vote, it's not, absolutely not a winning strategy. And this is criminal. So at this point, obviously, some people can whine on YouTube as they want. Some people can ban me on Discord as they want. But this is the only power you have on that when you stay at home and you're whining, because this is more important for you to protect a target that reduces the chance of Afro-American to not being killed on the streets and executed. Maybe your priority is to be sure that a Target or a Walmart is not looted over the execution of an Afro-American. If this is your priority, that's problematic. But obviously, you can stay in your basement, on internet, whining about that, whining about some jeans or Nike shoes stole in stores that them have insurance. You can do that if this is your priority over life of Afro-Americans and minorities in the United States. If this is what matters the most. You can ban me on Discord, you can insult me on YouTube, you can celebrate with your friends, fascist friend Captain Redneck. You can do that. But seriously, that's the most you can do. That's the most you can do. You're not gonna stop history like that. The protest will not disappear because you are screaming against Manu on Twitter. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. History will be made. So right now, there are two questions you have to ask. How I can be on the good side of history. That means how I can help to pull the root of that real problem that exists instead to negate it and finally save lives on a daily basis by bringing the society to step forward and stop that kind of shit. Or you can cry like a pussy about the poor jeans that been looted in a Walmart that will call his insurance. And we have enough money about it. Or cry about a police station that anyway was certainly old and will be replaced now that the whole building have been burned, where there was absolutely no victim, nobody died. That's the point. That's your choice. Ban me on Discord, like put me on timeout on YouTube, on a YouTube channel with several subscribers, some subscribers, like screaming about me. Celebrate on your Discord channel with some like far right friends that think that they can magically, by repression, stop history. It's not going to change that. So on which side of history you want to be? You want to be, when people watch in 20 years and 30 years, history book, documentary, and all that stuff. In which picture you want to be? Do you want to be in the picture of people that are wanting pussy on internet and cry about, I don't know, some Nike shoes stole in the Target? Or you want to be on the side of the people that make the society go forward by saving life of Afro-American on a daily basis, stopping racial harassment and execution? It depends on which side you want to be. I mean, it's not the question to promote the looting. It's a question that's like an anecdote in history. Looting is an anecdote in history. Looting in a Walmart, on a Target, that's absolutely have no interest in history. It's nothing. It's meaningless. But stop police brutality and execution on the streets of the minorities. I mean, the people at the time of Luther King or any important characters, historical characters in the story of the United States, the people then support them and battle with them, now are in history as heroes. And the people then cry over, I don't know which kind of meaningless looting that happened in Peripheric. Nobody cared about them. They disappeared. They are not in history anymore. They are like ghosts. And in fact, sometimes when we have some picture of them crying like pussies, people are laughing at them. So you can ban me on Discord. You can put me on timeout on YouTube. You can celebrate with phony idiotic friends from the far right that thinks to be the landlord of the YouTube, and crying because they are supposed to be mute by everybody. You can do that, but this is not going to change history. You just go on the bad side, and you will rot on the bad side. That's it. You'll rot on the bad side of history. That's it. For a couple of pair of jeans that have been looted. Seriously. But that's your problem, isn't mine. Isn't mine.